Good morning and welcome to Finance 4502 Spring 2014 term. I am doing this video on YouTube because I can't figure out how to get the Adobe Connect to work, and I wanted to have some type of an interaction with you before you start this online class. So you don't necessarily have to watch the video, but maybe if you want to minimize the screen, and bring up your Blackboard classroom site, we can go from there. But just to give you a little intro, I'm talking to you from my home office here in Fort Lauderdale, and as you can see, there's papers all over the place, so we're very busy. And I have to warn you, if you hear any barks, my dog Gigi tends to start barking when anything starts happening, so don't be alarmed. But anyway, my name is Helen Simon, and I'm going to be your professor for this class. This is the first time I am teaching this class online. I've taught it in the classroom for about 10 years, longer than that. Wow. I've been at FIU for 10 years, and I taught it at another school before this. So I do have a lot of experience teaching the course, and I have good results with the classroom classes. So I wanted to go ahead and make this as much like a classroom class as I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to include videos whenever I can. Last term when I taught this class, I used the classroom capture, and I taped some of the classes, so you'll see that when we go through the class, there are a lot of modules that have little snips of videos here and there in it. So aside from being a professor at FIU, I also have a financial planning firm, and I've been a financial planner for like ever. And hopefully I can incorporate a little bit of that into your course here to make it a little more realistic. I believe in applied finance. Students often ask me, okay, professor, are you more numbers or concepts or what? And I'm more applied, and I kind of get this look. So it's basically taking the numbers that you learn and the theories that you learn and applying them to real life situations. I'm also the faculty advisor to our newly formed FIU Student Financial Planning Association chapter, which if you're at all interested in anything to do with financial planning or wealth management or anything like that, it's something you may want to be involved in. And I believe they're going to have their first meeting on January the 23rd, so you might want to put that in your calendar. I will go ahead and get you more details once the date becomes closer. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I'd like you to go ahead and click on to the Blackboard Classroom for FIN 4502. First of all, on the top of the syllabus is my personal information. This is how you can get a hold of me. Now, the best way, if you need to talk to me, the best thing to do is to email me, because I always have my smartphone with me, don't we all? And I'm checking my messages on a pretty regular basis. If you call and leave me a message at the office, I'm usually only on campus, sometimes only on Wednesdays, okay, because I work a lot at home, because if online classes, there's really not a lot of reason to go to FIU and try to find a parking space, right? So the best thing to do is email, and I will be happy to get back to you as soon as I can. I stay within 48 hours just to save myself in case I get really busy, but in general I'll get back to you a lot sooner than that. Okay, so my direct email is simonh@fiu.edu, or you can email me directly through the Blackboard site. I would ask that if you email me at simonh in the subject line, if you would just put 4502 online, and I'll know what it is, because a lot of times students send me an email and they say, "Oh, professor, when is our assignment due?" And I'm like, "Well, I got 4 classes, which one are you in?" So I really need you to be specific as to what class you're in, and it makes my life a lot easier. Actually, emailing through the site is probably the best, because then I'm right there and I can just click over and look at it, whatever it is that you're talking about. And I would just ask that if you have questions to be specific, please. If you have a question maybe on a quiz or something like that, give me the number of your question. Everybody has different questions on our quizzes, but if you say, okay, I have a question on number 7, I think it should be C instead of B because. Okay, so just be specific, and then I can get back to you sooner. The other thing I put on here, let's see, I have an office at the Modesto Medique campus. It's in the Ryder building, which is RBC, and it's room 211A. I'm up on the second floor right down the hall from the finance department. And I have office hours on campus on Wednesdays, every Wednesday from 2 to 6:30. So I know for some reason a lot of students that live locally like to come in and just, meet and shake hands and stuff like that. Maybe you have some questions or you'd like to talk about something in person. You're always welcome to come during office hours. I'm almost always there. I would just suggest, if you're thinking of coming by, maybe pop me an email and let me know, because I think there's going to be 1 or 2 Wednesdays that I'm going to be out of town at conferences. So if you can do that, that would be awesome. I try to let everybody know, but sometimes I'm not that good at letting everybody know that I'm not going to be there. The other thing is my website. I have a Facebook page, which is connected with my financial planning business. And what I do there is I post up information that is of interest to clients, but that's also, I believe, of interest to students. So if you go in there, you know how it goes. You like my page, and every time I post something, it goes onto your news feed. I guess that's what we call it. I know Facebook isn't cool anymore, but with my generation, it's really cool right now. So anyway, okay, let's get into the course and what it's all about. Okay, this is an introductory investments course. It's a fun course if you look at it the right way. And what we're doing is we're looking at the big picture of what investments are all about, what stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and all that other types of things. And upon completion of the course, you should hopefully know a lot more than you know now. You should be able to identify the function and operations of different financial markets. You should be able to determine measures of risk. Okay, risk is something that's really important in finance that a lot of people forget about. Calculate the value of stocks, bonds, and securities using tools that we use in the class, and understand the risks and potential rewards available in stock and other financial instruments. Everything has risk. When we talk about the risk-free asset, that's kind of a misnomer because nothing is risk-free. Be familiar with the investing process. We're going to talk about how markets work, how you buy stocks, how you buy bonds, how you buy stocks smartly, how you buy bonds in a silly way, how to formulate appropriate investment strategies, and be able to actually make investment decisions based on skills learned in the class. Okay, this class I teach very much from the perspective of, it's a general investments class, but I throw in a lot on financial planning, personal financial planning, and financial planning also, of course, if you're going to do it as a profession. Okay, and the teaching methodology, once again, I'm all into applying things. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to make sure you know what something is. You also have to make sure that you know how to use it, because if you go on a job interview, somebody's not going to ask you, what's the formula for the capital asset pricing model? They may ask you, what do you do with it, and what does it show you? So that's where it comes important. And I've actually talked to students who've gone on job interviews and been asked questions like that. So make sure when we do something, you really know what it's used for and the application of it. Okay. Policies, once again, here's your FIU policies page. Essential information regarding guidelines relative to courses and all that other stuff. And if you're having issues with your computer, your classes, your grade is going to suffer. Okay, so that's the important thing. So what you want to do is you want to go in here and you want to make sure that your computer is running. Go to the technical requirements page. And the other thing is, and I'm going to say this like 105 times, take the practice quiz before you start taking the online quizzes. And if you change computers, take the practice quiz again. The first time you take the practice quiz, I will count the points for it. So that's an easy, like 10 points, right off the bat. That's 10% of your online quiz points. So you're really, if I see that you haven't taken the practice quiz, I know you haven't listened to this video. So just maybe go right ahead in after you finish up and take that, and just make sure that your computer is doing what it's supposed to. Because if the computer shuts down, or if you have a problem during an exam, unfortunately, we're not gonna reset it for you if it has something to do with your computer. And while I'm thinking of that, if that does happen, the first thing that you need to do is go on the left-hand menu of your page be left hand because in the video I'm like the mirror, I'm opposite. Go ahead in there and click technical assistance. Don't email me, my computer pooped out. I can't do anything about that, unfortunately. I'm more than happy to answer finance questions, but technical questions, we have a whole staff of people that does that. So please contact them immediately. Like if you're taking a quiz one night and for some reason the system boots you out, the best thing to do is just to sign right back in, and a lot of times it will let you back in. If you run into a problem, email the tech support people, explain to them exactly what happened, or there's also an online chat feature, I believe, which if it's manned, excuse the term, or womaned, you may get a quicker answer there. So anyway, just be proactive. Don't just shrivel up and die because the computer kicks you off. A lot of times you can just sign right back in. Okay, the prereqs, our new system won't let you sign in for the class unless you have the prereqs, so that's good. We don't have to worry about that. Now, the textbook that we're going to use is a book called Investments by a guy by the name of Herb Mayo, and this is what the real book looks like, okay? And as you see, I actually really do read the textbook and stick notes in there and everything. And there's a lot of different ways. It's an expensive textbook, unfortunately, but I think they're all expensive these days. You can go in there, you can purchase it at the FIU bookstore. If you go to Amazon.com, I think they have a lot of different options that you can rent it, you can buy it used, and there's nothing wrong with a used book. You can also go to CinEge, and once again, if you're looking at the syllabus right now online, as you should be, there is a link where you can go in and you can rent it and and all that other kind of stuff, so you might want to do that. Okay, expectations of the course, they're high. Okay, this is an online course, meaning that most of the coursework will be conducted online, which some people say an online course is easier. I don't think so. I think you have to have a lot of stick-to-itiveness and discipline to do an online course. I have actually taken online courses when I was in graduate school, so I know how tough it can be. I would strongly suggest that even though you don't have a class and a class time, set up a time every week, and this is your 4502 time. Whether it's 2 hours on Tuesday night or 3 hours on Saturday morning, and expect that in total, between reading and everything else, you should be putting in at least 10 hours a week into this course, if not more. And it's so funny when I ask students sometimes and they say, "Professor, I'm having trouble with the course. What do you think I can do?" And I say, "Well, how many hours are you putting in?" "Oh, I'm putting in a lot. I'm putting in like 3 or 4. Well, no, that's not enough. Because what you have to do is you have to do the readings. The course, when we go into the course page, you'll see that there are a lot of videos. There are a lot of additional reading materials. And, you don't just go over, your notes once. Okay, you probably need to go over them, 2 or 3 times. So set yourself up for about 10 hours. But if you maybe take a time during the week and say this is your class time, and no matter what happens, that 2 or 3 hour period, you're working on your class, then you might not run into any problems. Okay, all right, so students are expected to, once again, review the how to get started information in the course content, okay? I get a lot of questions later on in the class. Students obviously have not gone through the getting started, okay, and it gets a little annoying because I have students asking me questions that I've gone over. So please go over the getting started and also go over this video and make sure to really listen to it, okay? Introduce yourself to the class. If you would, on the site, there's an area that tells you exactly the information that we need. Take the practice quiz. Review and follow the course calendar. We're going to go through that. Log into the course daily. Respond to the discussion boards, blogs, and journal postings within 48 hours. I don't know if we're going to have a lot of those. I'll see later on. But if we do, it's a good idea not to kind of let them hang out. And respond to messages. If I send you a message, try to get back to me soon. Submit assignments by deadlines, okay? There's going to be a deadline every week for a quiz, and there's going to be a deadline for a group project that I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about in detail later on in the syllabus. And then basically I'll tell you here that I log in daily. I'll respond to messages within 48 hours. And I'll grade assignments within 5 business days of the assignment deadline. that's pretty much it. Okay, course communication. Communication in this course will take place via messages. That's kind of a default they put in there. I would just go ahead and do email. Now let's talk about the quizzes. Okay, when we get into the course content section, you're gonna see that there's sometimes a couple of quizzes a week. They might be small. They might only be 10 or 15 questions, but they're important. Okay, and once again, take that practice quiz first. And if you use a new computer, take the practice quiz again with the new computer to make sure that it's working correctly. Okay. And also, the quizzes are not compatible with mobile devices and should not be taken through a mobile phone or a tablet. So, unfortunately, I know I have students come up to me all the time in a classroom with their little cell phone and say, "Professor, this question," and it's like I can't even see it. But you need to sit down at a laptop or a desktop to take your quizzes. It's your best bet. Okay. We do not offer any midterms. Now, what I do is, as far as online quizzes that you have every week, there are a lot of them, and only 100 points counts towards your final grade. So I may give you, 120 or 130 potential points. So if you do miss a quiz, it's not the end of the world. And once again, if you ask me for a makeup, I'm going to tell you that tells me you didn't read my syllabus, okay? And I'm going to be not happy. So no makeups, no exceptions. The midterm, okay, the midterm will be available for you to take from February the 28th through March the 2nd at 10 p.m. Start at 9 a.m. on the 28th and end on March the 2nd at 10 p.m. It'll be 100 questions worth 3 points each, okay, and you'll have 200 minutes to complete it. Now, when we get down to the grading section of the paper, you're going to see why I say 100 questions worth 3 points each. That translates into 30% of your grade. Okay, so your midterm's 30% of your grade. Once again, no makeups, don't ask, don't tell. Okay, and then the final. Okay, the final will be a proctored, must be, no exception, a proctored exam. And you have options for your proctored exam. We will do a general proctored exam on the main campus on Saturday, April the 26th. And what I usually do is I have a few online classes, so I set up a couple of different sessions, and you can usually find one that meets your schedule. Okay, if you live far away or have another good reason that you can't, you can use ProctorU. Okay, and further on down the road, we will be posting information on ProctorU, and you need to make this decision probably by about April the 1st. Okay, the first or second week in April, because we have to set up with ProctorU. We have to authorize you. We have to know how many people are coming to campus. So I had a gal last term, unfortunately, that decided the day before that she didn't want to come to campus and take it, and we really couldn't set her up with ProctorU. So to start thinking about around April the 1st, how you're going to take your final exam. Okay, once again, final exam, 100 multiple choice questions, 4 points each. Now you will be able to bring with you to either whether you're at the coming to campus or ProctorU. You can have a blank Excel sheet, in other words, on your computer. You can have a financial calculator. You can have 1 3x5 card, 1, not 7, not 8, 1. You can write on the front, you can write on the back, you can write anything you want on it. No electronic devices as far as smartphones are allowed to be operational anytime during class or an exam or anything like that. I had a bad situation with the final exam in one of my other classes last term. A young lady was supposedly texting her mom during the exam, and I was walking around and I saw her, and it's just absolutely, when you come down to the classroom, and we're going to say it again before we start the test, no mobile anythings, okay? Just your brain and some old-fashioned financial calculators or paper or whatever. And when you come to campus or ProctorU, you have to be able to present a photo ID. And if there is any cheating on either ProctorU or the proctored exam at the Modesto Mid campus, that's grounds for failing the test. So especially at that point, you don't want to get ditched for failing. You don't want to get ditched for cheating after you've done all that work. Okay, in the third week of class, we're going to assign you to a group, and we're going to set you up with a group, like your own little section of the classroom, and we're going to give you a stock, and you have to do an analysis of the stock, and we're going to be talking about that throughout the course. So you're going to get a lot of information. The assignment is due by April the 6th at 10 p.m. because I need to be able to grade it by the time, the class ends at the end of the month. Your individual grade for the project will be based on the quality of the group report. Okay, so if you did great work and everybody else slacked and it gets a bad grade, you get a bad grade too. So it's a really good idea to keep an eye on what your other group members are doing. And telling me that you did your part is not a reason to get a different grade than the rest of your group. A group project is everybody. So if you're going to go ahead and divide up the work and then slap it all together at the end, it's going to read like that, it's going to look like that, and I'm going to grade it like that. And I see people all the time. It's like they took 5 different reports, put them all together, and they're talking about the same thing 4 times over. You need to coordinate. Maybe you need to put together a draft, have everybody read it, and then everybody edit it. But this needs to be a really good report. It needs to be the quality that you would go ahead and submit to a boss. Okay? You need to have proper grammar. You need to have proper spelling. And one thing that absolutely drives me crazy is people that capitalize everything. The only thing you capitalize is a proper noun, and I do take off points for that. Okay? Now, the final grade, the final group project should be at least 10 pages, and please number your pages. You should number pages on everything. You should number PowerPoint presentations, so for easy reference. Okay, I want the font to be Arial 12-point font, black ink, white paper, left and right margins of no more than 1 1/4 inches, standard footnotes, proper references, and a bibliography. Okay. If you do not know how to do a bibliography, if you do not know how to reference, I would suggest you learn APA format, and you can find a wealth of information on APA format at www.citationmachine.net. It's all one word, citationmachine.net. And what that'll do is, if you put your information in there, it'll show you exactly how to word the reference. Okay, and I am going to take off points if the bibliography is not correct and if you don't reference. If you do not properly reference direct quotes, that's plagiarism, and plagiarism is grounds for failure. Okay, you also need to preface your assignment with a group page, which I've linked in right here, and there's also another page on the site where you can go. You're gonna upload your paper to the Blackboard Classroom. We're going to give you an area to upload it by 4/6 at 10 p.m. And I want the paper in order. In other words, it would be nice if you did a table of contents. The first thing is going to be the certificate of authorship. The second is going to be a buy or not buy recommendation, and basically this is a summary at the beginning. Okay, it will say introduction. The paper will say introduction, and then under introduction it will be, we have decided that XYZ company is a buy candidate, period. We will tell you in the following body why. Okay, so then the third part will be a definition and analysis of the sector in which the company falls. Okay, the industry highlights. Okay, what is going on in the sector with your company? I don't want to hear ancient history. I want to know what's going on today. All right, for the company's story, who they are, what they do, and most important of all, how they make money. I don't want to hear that, back in 1888 the company did whatever. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear, how do they make money today? Like, say for instance, if your company is Apple, okay, which one of their segments brings in what percentage of their profits? We need to know all that kind of stuff. Once again, focus on what's going on now. What are the things that are going to affect this stock price now? What makes this a buy or a not buy now? And then the last part is going to be a financial analysis, using tools that you learn in the class. Now, don't try to do this too soon, because we don't get to this till like the 8th or 9th week of class. Okay, and here you're going to talk about using price evaluation. Okay, you're also going to identify whether this is a value or a growth stock. This is also something that we'll go over probably close to the 9th week of class. Okay, and once again, all sources must be referenced. Direct quotes need to be specifically defined as such. Once again, if you copy and paste something from the internet and you do not properly reference it, that is plagiarism and that is grounds for an F on the paper. You need a proper bibliography. A listing of web links is not accessible, and once again, here it is. I've put the link to citationmachine.net for you. Okay, Adobe Connect Pro meeting, I'm going to try to do a couple of these when I figure out how to use it, so I'll get back to that later. Your grading for the course, once again, the breakdown is online quizzes, 10% of your grade, midterm exam, 30% of your grade, final exam, 40% of your grade, group research project, 20% of your grade. So this adds up to 100%. However, what I do is I break it out in points. In other words, your online quizzes, the total is 100. Now, the way that this works is every time you take an online quiz, you're going to get, if there's 10 questions, you're going to get anywhere from 1 to 10 points. We add that onto your online quiz total. Okay, when you get up to 100 points, that's all the credit that you can get. Now, you can still keep taking the quizzes, and I would suggest you do, because a lot of times you see those questions again on final exams and the like. So, but it's just easy to just add it up, and if you look at your quizzes, add them up, and you know you're at 100, you know that you got 100% of the quiz portion of the grade. Once again, the midterm exam, 300 points, also known as 30%. Final exam, 200 points, also known as 40%. No, that's not right. That's a typo. That needs to be 400 points. I'll have to fix that later. I apologize. Okay, yeah, it's 400 points. 4 points times 100. Group research project is 20, and then your total is 1,000. Okay, and this is how the grading works here. 95 to 1,050. Okay, I am probably going to come up with an extra credit project later on. I just don't know what it is, but we'll add that in somewhere on there. 900 to 940 is an A-, and so on. Okay, now there is a folder for each module of the course, and in a minute I'm going to ask you to click into course content so you can see it, that will be available Monday of each week. Okay, please be sure that you have completed all the items in the folder before you take any quizzes or complete any assignments for a week. And once again, I reserve the right to change. And the reason that I reserve the right to change is if I feel like things are moving too slow or things are moving too quick, I kind of change things around accordingly. But I will always let you know if I change the video. So I've changed the syllabus, the course content, course calendar section. Okay, so here's all the different modules, week, same thing, interchangeable terms, and the date here is just the beginning of the week, and this just kind of tells you the topic and your reading requirements in the Mayo book. Okay, and here is your Module 8, which is going to be your midterm exam. Then we have spring break from March 6th to 16th, no material assigned, your assignment is to take a vacation. And here's everything else. Here is our proctored final exam and the like. So that's the syllabus. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here to the blackboard, and I want you to go on the left-hand column, and I want you to click on what says course content. Okay, and when you go into course content, you are going to see, first of all, welcome to the course. There's your syllabus, introduce yourself. What I did, FIN 4502 info, including required cover pages for assignment. That's just another place where you can find the cover pages, and that's also some rules of the road. Now, each folder is going to have information in it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into the first folder, which is this week, and there isn't very much in here. Okay, and I give you a list, and this is something I'm working on, so excuse me if I don't have it for every module. After completing this week's assignments, you should be able to. And I found students really like this because it told them what they should have learned, and they can look at that at the end of the week and see, okay, well, I did everything I should do. So here's your practice quiz. Here's something that I thought, is just of general interest. It's a link. It's called 2013, the Year on Wall Street. Just basically a rundown of some things that happened last year. Okay, and another thing that some of you may have heard about that's kind of controversial right now is the idea of online financial advisors. And actually, there's a lot of them. There's LearnVest and a number of others. So that's something you might want to read over for your own personal information. And once again, it changes the demography of the job market, because I took a group of students to a conference last year, and the LearnVest people were actually there recruiting. So, it's something you might want to look on and consider. And really, a real class is going to be week number 2, class number 2. And let me just go in here really quick and show you. I've made classes 1 and classes 2 available, but after that, they're only going to be available on Monday. So if you click on class number 2, okay, you're going to see, after completing this week's assignment, class number 2 is a pretty heavy-duty one. It's 2 very important chapters in the book. And that's basically what you need to know. Okay, and I've divided into Intro to Investments, Chapter 1, and then Chapter 2 is Securities. Now, I've given you a quiz for Chapter 1 and a quiz for Chapter 2 separately. Okay, what you do is you go in and you take the quiz. You have 2 minutes a question, so if there's 10 questions, you get 20 minutes. And the quiz has to be completed, saved, and submitted by 10 p.m. on Sunday night. Don't start it at 10 p.m. because you're gonna miss out. You need to have it done by then. And the reason that I do that is there are an awful lot of classes that have a due date of midnight on Sunday, and the traffic on Blackboard at 11:55 on Sunday is unbelievable. We have all kinds of problems. So for your own good, get it in there by 10. Okay. Then let's see. So you don't see it now, but as the weeks go by, you will see a folder for each class. And each class, you just kind of go through the folders, and you do what you're supposed to do. I'm just going to show you. You can't actually see this right now, but I gave you, for instance, in class number 3, okay, you have your assignments. However, I've also included a documentary that Frontline did on retirement, and I've noted on there that it is not test material. However, if you're someone that is going into that field, you might want to take an hour and watch it. It was very informative. But anyway, okay, so that's your intro to the class. I hope this little video helped. And you have my email. You know how to get in touch with me, and I will be here if you need me. Good luck in the course, and I look forward to meeting you at the final exam. Have a good 2004.